It's finally here. Haylie Davis's debut album called Wandering Star has finally arrived on Fire Records, and we're going to give it a listen and give it a review. And if you'd like to hear more, please stick around. This is All Gas, No Trash. My name's Adam, and welcome back to the program, and welcome to a brand new episode. I can't say exactly when I started following Haley Hofstetter. She's had many incarnations. Previously was in a project called Will and Haley, and shortly afterwards it was Lady Appletree, which was probably the longest tenured project that she was in. I could be wrong about that, but nonetheless, after that, she decided to change her name once again as Haylie Davis. So it's been quite the whirlwind of, finding an identity that works with her as an artist, a moniker, so to speak. And I have listened to a few of the singles, but I've mostly stayed away from all the other ones that have been released. I know that I think there's probably been 5 total, so that's probably about half the album. So I figured I'll listen to 2, maybe talk about them in previous episodes, which I did. And I have been critical of her, but we'll see if I have those same criticisms. I've decided to just kind of keep an open mind and not have any preconceived notions or biases. I just want to go in and listen to it with open ears and an open heart. So we'll see how it comes out. And the reason that I had a particular interest in Haylie Davis is because of the fact that um, there hasn't really been a folk artist, whatever variation of folk this is. There really hasn't been something like this in Southern California in quite some time, at least in my estimation, probably since an artist named Jess Williamson. But I think she definitely has the potential to have a higher ceiling than Jess Williamson. I think she's a better vocalist. I think the other part of this is that maybe the folk scene within Southern California isn't particularly strong, so it's something like Haylie Davis potentially being a big fish in a small pond. And she has been picked up by Rolling Stone magazine as being one of the breakout artists in like 2026, if I remember correctly. I forgot what the title of the article was, but it had something to do with a breakout artist list or something like that. But the comparisons that have been made is that this is Laurel Canyon folk music. So what comparisons have been made is Joni Mitchell and also Crosby, Stills, and Nash amongst the few artists to be mentioned. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm kind of hopeful that this is something that will achieve perhaps the same acclaim of an artist like Wise Blood or maybe Hannah Cohen, something along those lines. Not to say that Haylie Davis is exactly like either of them, but I would like to find a folk artist that is of that caliber, that is of the new generation, so to speak. So let's go ahead and give it a listen. I know we have quite a bit of music to get through, so let's go ahead and give a listen to Country Boy from Haylie Davis. And I do have to preface in saying that we do not play music on this podcast directly. That's something you have to do at your own discretion because we could be copyright stricken and, the channel can be in big trouble and we don't want something like that to happen. So, we have the links available in the podcast episode description. We also have it on the video version on YouTube for you to click on and for you to listen to the album. So go ahead and do that. And we're going to check out the first track called Country Boy from Haylie Davis from the album called Wandering Star Going In. Welcome back. That was Haylie Davis with her track called Country Boy. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. For me personally, I have heard this track before when it was released as a single, and it is a pretty decent opening track. It is, in my opinion, par for the course to hear a song like this, whether it is in the folk space or just perhaps music in general, that we often get songs that are about romance or breakups, relationships in general. And it seems like within the story, this boy that is spoken of in the track is I guess, a wandering spirit now after having a falling out with their partner or potentially a group of people. And now he's just kind of left to himself, wandering and doing his own thing, kicking it at the beach, hanging out, I suppose. Um, if I had to say what the strengths of the track are, I'm hoping that the pedal steel guitar is not used so in such a reserved fashion. I think it definitely fills out the I guess you could say kind of the bare bones nature of the instrumental portion of the music. Like I think it kind of fills out the space and really rounds out the track. And I'm hoping it's not just something that we get in like the last third of a song. Because I understand that the emphasis is supposed to be placed on Haylie's vocals, but I think you can like kind of add accents to the ends of verses or at the end of a chorus or whatever, just kind of have it pop in every now and then. It doesn't have to be so overwhelming, but and the specific example that I'm thinking of is this track called Lonely 2, which is featured on this album. It's probably like my favorite track that I've heard from Haylie Davis when she was doing live performances like 2 years ago. And there was this place that she played at called Healing Force Records in Pasadena. It's like a record store, but they got a whole setup and everything. But also saw her perform at the Zebulon. This is where I actually heard Lonely 2, which was probably like my favorite track that I heard. But point I'm getting at is that I'm hoping that this pedal steel guitar is not just something that is used sparingly. I'd like to see it more frequently within the mix, because I think it's a real standout in the track. But, on top of that, we have Haylie's vocals. I mean, she can belt some notes out. She has a very, I guess, beautiful voice, serene voice. And there's a part, it's the second, no, it's the last chorus when she's like, just a lonely country boy. She really goes for it. And I do appreciate that, showing her range and that she could sustain and belt out notes. But there was also a part in the second verse, let me see, where she says, you like to lay out in the sun, hold your words up like a gun. She kind of takes it on a little bit of a roller coaster. There's fluidity there. It goes on the higher end of notes and then goes down low. So I did like that part. I'm hoping there's more of that in each of the tracks going forward. But overall, an enjoyable track. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily blown away, but it is a pretty decent opening track. So let's go ahead and get to the next one, because we do have quite a bit of tracks to get through. So the next one we're going to be checking out is called Golden Age, which was yet another single that was released before Wandering Star was dropped. So pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice. We're going to be checking out Golden Voice from Haylie Davis going in. Welcome back. That was Haylie Davis with her track called Golden Age. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. So I've been thinking about the lyrics. I'm not exactly sure if I'm getting the exact message that Haylie is getting across, but I guess in my own estimation, Haylie is possibly making a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek joke that she's this struggling artist, and supposedly with this golden age of music where everybody has the tools to make music, put it online, it's never been easier, right? But it's also never been more difficult to stand out and be heard and have people listen to you, to eventually purchase your music, come out to your shows, etc., and make a generable living income off of your music. And perhaps she has her own doubts about whether this thing is going to work out, because here in verse 1 and even the chorus, new world, ain't it funny, making no kind of money, but it don't matter, it's all the same, win or lose, you're playing the game, so walk away, it ain't funny now. Perhaps talking her own internal monologue, saying, hey, I came out to Southern California and Los Angeles specifically to kind of make it, and I'm getting a little bit older, things aren't working out at this point. maybe it's not worth following through on. I want to run away from this golden age that, like I said, everybody has the tools to become an artist. It's never been easier, but it's simultaneously never been more difficult to be a successful artist. And I think for me, where the strengths of the track lie, I really like the riff on the acoustic guitar from Sam Burton, whom I believe is the actual real life partner of Haylie Davis, romantic partner. So this is him serving as executive producer, if I'm not mistaken. Also chipping in with some of the instrumentals. And there was this one guy, I forgot his name initially because he was on. He was at the live performance at the Zebulon where he was playing pedal steel guitar. I was kind of curious to see if he had any other role within the band, and it appears that he is the bass player. His name is Connor Catfish Gallagher. I wonder if that's Gallagher. I'm not entirely sure. But anyways, just had to quickly mention that. But getting back to the instrumental portion, I really like the riff that's kind of heard within the verse and also the chorus. The like that. I quite enjoyed that. I like the chord progressions in this song. Also, again, Haley's vocals are quite good, and yeah, I mean, as far as like looking into the lyrics, it does kind of like play out in my head that it's talking about the struggles of being an artist and perhaps everybody else is making money in music that doesn't have an instrument or have any actual talent, i.e., I guess the managers, the booking agencies, and it's all good and well for them. But on the opposite end, it's for the artist, it's not so much good fortune for them. But let's go ahead and get to the next track. We do have a track called I Was Wrong, which is next. And go ahead and pull it up on your digital stream platform of choice. I do want to emphasize that you must play the music on your own because we can't play it on the podcast. So once again, we're going to be checking out I Was Wrong from Haylie Davis going in. All right, welcome back. That was Haylie Davis with her track called I Was Wrong. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. All right, to be perfectly honest, I did not like this track. I kind of found it boring, and I don't really have anything more to add beyond that. But if there was a little bit of a highlight, I would say that I just looked at the song credits, and who else but Connor Catfish Gallagher is laying down the lead guitar on this song. I'm not exactly sure if this is the exact effects that he added to the lead guitar, but I'm under the impression that it's like a flanger effect with a little bit of reverb, and it sounds really fucking awesome. And there's like a little bit of twang to it, But yeah, that's all I could really say of things that I enjoyed on this track. But yeah, I didn't really care for this track in particular. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's listen to the next song, which is called Born to Be Blue. So pull it up on your digital stream platform of choice. Once again, we have the links available for you in the podcast episode description. And we're going to give Born to Be Blue going in. Welcome back. That was Haylie Davis with her track called Born to Be Blue. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. All right, so I'm going to start with the positive, and then we'll go over to what I didn't like about the track. So within the 52-second mark to the 1 minute and 7 seconds mark, within that little section, and I believe it is the chorus that is being sung within the track, man, that was a really magical moment. It gave me like the feelings of listening to With a Little Help from My Friends from Joe Cocker, sans like maybe the organ. There's no organ in this track, but I think that would add something to Haylie Davis's sound to add another wrinkle or a little bit more personality to this track, because that's where maybe I think there's some caveats to this track, is that it is slow trodden, and I know that's kind of par for the course for this genre of music. If this is more on the country folk side or something along those lines. But it was like monotonous and kind of boring until it really opened up at the chorus. And like I was saying, it gave me like the feeling of like Joe Cocker, and I think that's uh, a very telling sign of what Haylie Davis is capable of. Not only the vocals, but just like the that entire portion of the song, the instrumentals, like everything that was being laid down within the span of those I guess uh 10 or 20 seconds. It was a really standout moment for this album. So I would say perhaps going into the future, like if this is something that you can work on or want to work with, I think like you have a little bit of an inkling or thing to go off of for a potential future album, or if you just want to release singles and find out more of what your sound is like, that's cool too. But yeah, I thought from 52 seconds to 107 was probably the best portion of the song, and a flash of greatness from not only Haylie Davis herself, but also the band. I would really love for an organ to be inserted within this project. I think it could add a lot. But anyways, let's go ahead and get to the next track, which is, let me see real quickly. It's Lily of the Valley from the Wandering Star album, which is, I think, probably track 4 or 5. I already lost track. But anyways, we're going to listen to Lily of the Valley from Haylie Davis going in. Welcome back. That was Haylie Davis with her track called Lily of the Valley. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. So I gotta say, this is everything that I thought Haylie Davis was capable of. And the whole crew that accompanies her. This song was perfection. From the arrangements of the instruments, I finally got what I wanted, which was the pedal steel guitar getting its licks in throughout the track. It just adds another layer to the music. And on top of that, there was just these beautiful choruses that were done by Haylie Davis herself, and of course the backing vocalist. I'm not sure who it was, but when they were like harmonizing with Haley's vocals, it just I don't know, it really took you back to really old school country, and I really enjoyed it. I have to say, at this moment, this is probably my favorite track, and whether this thing bombs for the rest of the album, I can say that this whole fucking track it justifies everything. Like this is what I want to see from Haylie Davis. This like you're waiting around for somebody to rise to the occasion, to reach their full potential, and this is what I was looking for, man. This is one of the highlights of the album itself. It gives me a lot of optimism for the future, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. I'm definitely going to be adding that into my rotation because, well, I'll explain it another time, but it's definitely going to be added into my rotation for my job. So, anyways, let's go ahead and get to the next track. I know I probably have more to say, but all I have to simply say is that, again, this song was perfection to hear. So let's go ahead and give a listen to the next song, which is Give Me a Rainbow. So go ahead and pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice, and let's give it a listen. Going in. All right, welcome back. That was Haylie Davis with her track called Give Me a Rainbow. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Man, at this moment, Haylie Davis is 2 for 2, and this takes me back to when she played at Healing Force Records, where she just strictly did a solo set, and it was just her by herself, probably played maybe, I think, 7 or 8 songs. I could be way off. I might have the set list. I'm not sure. But regardless, Haylie Davis played this song way back when, and I thought it was, I kind of shrugged my shoulders at it because the acoustic version, it's just the acoustic guitar and her voice. And now hearing all the instruments accompanying her, oh man, it's just so fucking good. Like, I really think she's hit a home run with these last 2 tracks, and I honestly don't even have any notes to share on this song. I think these last 2 ones have been perfection, and to see the evolution of this track from way back when, and I believe she played it at the Zebulon at one point, but Uh, I vaguely remember how it sounded back then. I remember more of the acoustic version, but to hear how it has come out on this album is just super stellar. So, compliments to the whole crew for really making this track shine on this album. But let's go ahead and get to the next one, which is called Young Man. And this one, I think, has, I think it was also a single. I've heard it before live, but I don't know what it sounds like now. But let's go ahead and give it a listen. Once again, that track is called Young Man from Haylie Davis going in. Welcome back. That was Haylie Davis with her track called Young Man. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Okay, so I don't exactly know how to phrase this, but I do want to say it in a way because it's two distinct things. One, I do think this is a good song. I don't know if it's as good as Give Me a Rainbow or Lily of the Valley, but objectively, I think it is a good song because it does feel reminiscent of something from Tammy Wynette's catalog, even though Tammy Wynette and Haylie Davis have distinct voices and they're not exactly comparable in that way, but as far as the lyrics and the topic itself and just like the general feel, I would say it reminds me of a song called Stand By Your Man from Tammy Wynette, and in that way I would say that the song's good. um is it my personal preference? I don't think it is, but nonetheless, I didn't want to take away any credit from this track to say that it's not good because I don't like it. No, I think it is a good track. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it. Well, hopefully they enjoy it. But yeah, I think the songs have really come together with the instrumentation, the way the instruments have been arranged, more features from the pedal steel guitar. Uh, yeah, it's just really clicking right now. And just to quickly mention, what was it? I think it was both Give Me a Rainbow and also it was also what was the other track? Damn it. Lily of the Valley, that we had Haylie Davis doing her own backing vocals, and they flash in every now and then, but they sound really angelic, and I was like, oh, holy shit, that's awesome. And even with this track, I thought it was it's a great song. I think it's just a personal preference thing, but let's go ahead and get to the next one, which is called Horns of Time. So pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice and let's give it a listen. This is Horns of Time from Haylie Davis going in. Welcome back. That was Haylie Davis with her track called Horns of Time. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. I have to say that for some critiques that I had about songs that were more bare bones, this one was like the perfect example of how Haylie Davis can do a more stripped back sound with just, if I'm not mistaken, there was piano on this track along with acoustic guitar, her voice, and like the soft pattering of bongos, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I thought this was definitely an exemplary case of how she could do that type of sound. As far as like the lyrics, there are lyrics available. And the only thing I really got is that I guess there's this star-crossed lovers, whether that's like Haylie Davis and uh, somebody else. I'm not exactly sure. It could probably be Sam Burton, who's her actual romantic partner, I guess. Um, but yeah, like it's kind of like star-crossed lovers, and they're gonna meet up again at some point, and they're making these comparisons to stars and constellations and stuff. Like here we have in the verse one, you crossed the road's last walk, spoke in words less talked before. I've been waiting for you too. I've been waiting for you. Constellations right, all the stars that shine bright. It is kind of like in that vein of being about star-crossed lovers. Horns of Time arrive, born me, and they point me back where I came from. They're really simple lyrics, but for me, this whole album is not something I'm going to be too harsh on lyrically. Like I said, it's just kind of what you would expect for the genre. It's kind of par for the course, so I'm not going to like ding it for doing exactly what one would expect. But I would have gave it bonus points if there was like wordplay or clever lyrics written. But it's kind of simple, and that's okay. That works for this music, and that's fine. But yeah, I think obviously the emphasis is being placed on Haley's vocals, which shine here, and her fellow musicians, her bandmates, also have the spotlight as well. Like I said, this is a really beautiful track to hear something more stripped back, but definitely works more so than some of the other tracks earlier in the track list. But we do have to move on and check out the next song, which is called Lonely 2. This is the song that I've been highly anticipating since it was played back in August of 2024 at the Zebulon. I'm hoping it meets my expectations because I love this track. I'm kind of scared that we're gonna have it not be quite as good as Give Me a Rainbow or even Lily of the Valley. So pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice and give it a listen. This is Haylie Davis with Lonely 2 going in. Welcome back. That was Haylie Davis with her track called Lonely 2. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. No, damn it. It was so close to being perfection. Ah, oh, man. It sucks. It was right there. It was right there. It was in the same league as Give Me a Rainbow and Lily of the Valley, but damn it, man. They really didn't include the pedal steel guitar. It just sounds like a lead guitar that's kind of taking the reins in terms of like laying down some riffs. But fuck, man, I really wanted to hear the pedal steel guitar in this track. I have the live set from her at the Zebulon. I might actually post it so you guys can hear it. But fuck, man, it kills me a little bit. It honestly kills me. But it is a great song. I think this is something that, in my opinion, is like worthy or of the caliber of anything that's from Titanic Rising from Wise Blood. I'm trying to think of some of the tracks. I think Every Day is one, and what was the other one I really like? Maybe like Something to Believe, or yeah, Every Day, Something to Believe. One of those two. But it just missed the mark because it just needed that pedal steel guitar. God damn it! Why didn't you just apply the template that you had from Lily of the Valley and apply it to Lonely 2? Fuck. All right, whatever. Let's move on. It's a great song. I'm not gonna lie. It's a great song. It's just a personal preference of mine that I wanted that. But we're reaching the end of the album, which is, it's two songs. We'll get to them very quickly, and then we'll finally give our score. I'm actually really surprised of how this thing turned out. I was trying to stray away from having any expectations, but it actually is a lot better than I was anticipating, especially because I was surprised by how good Lily of the Valley was. But let's go ahead and listen to Wandering Star, the titular track and the title of the album, which is the 10th song in the track list. Pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice, and let's give it a listen. Wandering Star from Haylie Davis going in. Welcome back. That was Haylie Davis with her track called Wandering Star. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Damn it, man. I think if there's anything to say about this track is that it kind of runs into the same problem as some of the earlier tracks in the discography, or the track list rather, like I Was Wrong and Country Boy, where it feels too bare bones. And in spite of the fact that I had my critiques about Lonely 2 not having a pedal steel guitar, in substitution of that, we had backing vocals with like oohs and ahs, like ah. We didn't get that with this track, and it was really kind of squarely placed on Haylie Davis to carry with her own vocals. And I think there could have been something to accompany her to really fill out the song, if it wasn't going to be the pedal steel guitar. Yeah, I think there could have been backing vocals during the chorus to really add something to the track, because it's on the verge of being like forgettable and a little too bare bones in the same way that I Was Wrong and Country Boy are. But I do like this song. I just can't say I love it, but we do have one more track to listen to, which is called Mourning Dove. mourning as in being sorrowful or woeful, not mourning as the dawn of day. So I'm not sure what we have in store for us with this track, but we'll see how it goes. Go ahead and pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice. We're going to give Morning Dove a listen, the last track in the album, and we'll have our final thoughts and score for Wandering Star. Going in. Welcome back. That was Haylie Davis with her track called Morning Dove. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. So, this is a track that I heard, I think at both sets, both at Zebulon and also Healing Force Records, and it's played exactly how it sounds. It's just the acoustic guitar and Haylie Davis, and it hasn't changed. So I'm glad that that's kind of the way this album wraps up for all the things that have been featured instrumentally, from the piano, acoustic guitar, bass, sliding guitar or pedal steel guitar, some bongos. This is a great way to like kind of remind everybody where the focal point is in this music. It's Haylie Davis's vocals. I thought it was a great way to wrap up the album. I'm not sure if I have anything else to add, but yeah, let's go ahead and get to the final score and, well, thoughts and final scores. For final thoughts on Haylie Davis's Wandering Star, I have quite a few opinions to share in terms of negative aspects about the album. I'm going to start with mixing and mastering. There was one example that I can think of specifically, and it had to do with Lonely 2. And not to say that I listen to this album on my phone speaker, but oftentimes I do just have my phone out and I listen on my speaker. And I feel that like having your phone at 50% volume, if you're able to hear all the instruments in the mix and the vocals, and it sounds good at that level, then that's a pretty good mix. And the way that the song's mastered is like it's pretty good, right? Because once you actually put on headphones or even play the music on speakers, it's going to sound so much better. So, that's the floor of what a good mix and mastering can do for a song. But when I listened to it on my phone initially, because I did want to hear this song before I did the album review, I felt like the acoustic guitar and the lead guitar were a little bit more muted or faint just off of hearing it on my phone speaker. Obviously, when you have headphones, it sounds a lot better, or even on speakers, but it did sound like it got lost in the mix, and even just the volume of the song could stand to be like 10 to 15% louder. I ended up like having to raise the volume on my phone like to 65 or 60% to kind of hear everything. As far as other things to pick apart, there were some songs that I personally felt were more on the forgettable side. I would say that I Was Wrong was probably the worst track on the album. It didn't do anything for me personally. And it's some of the creative choices to not include backing vocals or pedal steel guitars to really fill out the sound or round out the track in the best way possible, because just having the bass, piano, and Haylie's vocals along with the drums, like it does come across as a little too bare bones on certain tracks, like with I would say maybe Country Boy, but there's also moments where even the stripped back sound really works in its favor, and I think Horns of Time and Morning Dove are really the strongest examples of that. But overall, I would have to say that this is an impressive debut from Haylie Davis. And yeah, I thought the series of songs from Lily of the Valley, Give Me a Rainbow, Young Man, Hordes of Time were probably some of the best tracks to be featured in this album. There weren't any notes that I had to share on that, like the backing vocals that Haylie did herself. Like they sound really angelic. I thought Lily of the Valley was like a really standout country track on her part, and the instrumentation was fantastic. To have Connor Catfish Gallagher or Gallagher, I'm guessing. I'm hoping that's not a typo. To have him lay down the pedal steel guitar on that track, and the acoustic guitar, the riffs, the drums, like everything just gelled so well on that track, and it just justified for me the my entire listening experience of listening to Haley Hotstetter from all the way back with Will and Haley to Lady Appletree. Like that was the track that I thought was, it justified the entire experience of me listening to Haley Hotstetter's music. So, all things considered, I would say that this sits at probably 7 to 7.5 out of 10 for me personally. I honestly believe with what she accomplished with Lily of the Valley could put her in the same spaces as Hannah Cohen or Wise Blood or even Drug Dealer, whom I think she has done backing vocals for at one point. But um, yeah, I think if she were to put out a second album with songs of the ilk of Lily of the Valley, Give Me a Rainbow, Horns of Time, Morning Dove, and Lonely 2, that she could find herself in a really favorable position. So I got to say that this is probably one of the more enjoyable albums in the folk space that I've heard. I've listened to Eve's Wilder's album, but yeah, this I think I like this a lot more than her album. But yeah, anyways, 7 to 7.5 out of 10 for Haylie Davis's debut album, Wandering Star. And there is one more thing I forgot to mention that I thought was pretty interesting. So there is a bit of a fun fact that happened this week where Haylie Davis went overseas uh, to perform at this place called Shackwell Arms alongside Hannah who is an artist that we have talked about in the past. And I just thought that was really, really fucking cool. And it was a free show, and I kind of wish I would have gone, had I the opportunity to actually see them. Hopefully they bring that back over here to the US and maybe specifically Los Angeles. But I just thought it was cool to see two artists that I never would have imagined seeing on the same bill actually end up playing the same event. So that was kind of cool to see. But anyways, that's the end of the episode. Once again, 7.5 out of 10 for Haylie Davis's Wandering Star, and there's nothing more to add. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'll catch y'all next time.